Hi guys, namaste. So I know that it's been a while. It's been probably about 9 months since my last video, and even by the time that you're seeing this, it will be a year. So I want to get into talking about why I took a year from posting. I also want to get into how 2020 has been for me because let's be honest, it's probably been a shit show for just about everybody. And my goals for the future. So the reason why I'm not posting for a year is I gave myself a challenge. I had somebody mention to me that they felt like I really only posted when things were bad, and that is the truth. I do feel like that wasn't such a horrible thing. I believe that I do it in a therapeutic manner, that when things are bad for me, that I post a video or I post something online to like try to give myself some type of reassurance towards what's happening in my life, and talking to myself in a positive therapeutic way to rise above. But the thing was, and this is the main reason why I took this challenge for myself, and I gave myself this challenge, nobody did but me, was I was looking for reassurance from you guys to tell me that these were the experiences that I was actually having, that this was my actual reality, or from like friends and family and things like that. And I have allowed that to encompass the last 9 months of my life, actually. So with that being said, I decided to stop posting videos, but I kind of wasn't really paying attention to the things that I had been saying, like even in my last videos or anything like that. So I took back a toxic relationship. That was the last video that I made, talking about codependency and toxic relationships. I took this person back, and I'm realizing that I had a lot of guilt and these abandonment issues that were like kind of like the forefront of like gearing me towards like, oh, I have to make this work because I'm the problem. And not to say that I wasn't a problem in the relationship. I'm sure that there was definitely things that were faults of mine. But listen, if you are in a toxic relationship, and by toxic, I mean that this person is being physically abusive to you, this person is being emotionally abusive to you, and emotionally abusive sometimes isn't as easy to see if this person is using your faults. And not just like your faults, but like your past or your things that are stemmed to you, like your mommy issues, your abandonment issues. If they are using that in your fights or your arguments and things like that towards you, you need to leave. And I mean, like, not just leave right now, like pack your stuff and run. So an emotional abuse is so much harder to see. And like for me, I grew up in an emotionally abusive household. I was constantly being told that I was bad. I was constantly being told that I was fat, that I was ugly, I was this, I was that, I wasn't smart, I'm not intelligent. All these things that my comfort was this emotional abusive relationship, and that if I make this work, then somehow it was all okay for what I went through when I was a kid. And not really seeing that connectivity is what got me to stay. But there was a moment where I'm chasing her after she had a wild freak out, flipping things and breaking stuff and stuff like that, that I am chasing after her in the rain in my socks. And I'm realizing, you need to leave. And I still stayed a few months after. But now looking back, like having that moment, if you've had that moment, if you're watching this and you're listening to me, please, I advise you to go. You cannot get that person to change. That person you have already probably accepted in some sense. It's like you're enabling them. In some sense, you've accepted these habits. Like this person, as much as you are worth that change. Always believe that for yourself. Always know that you're worth that. But you can't get them to see that because they can't see their own worth. So this is where I'm at, and this is where it just finally clicked for me. And it took a lot. I had to change therapist. I, really had to like find a new supportive grouping of friends. I had a friend who I had to cut out as well, because really was like trying to convince me that this was a healthy relationship. And then I have other friends who I love and adore. Thank you for the ones who helped me, especially to move. That were just like, no, like they don't deserve you. And this is something that it's so hard for me because I don't ever like to think that I'm above anybody or anything like that. I believe that we're all equal. I truly believe in equality as much as possible. But I think what has helped me to understand is that we are all on the same playing field. But if somebody's putting themselves here when we're all right here, then that's where that's where it comes from. Because if that person can't see their worth, you can never make somebody else see that. As much as like we're in a society driven by that with the social media and Instagram and Facebook and all these things and liking everything or connecting these small connections with people, you still can't make somebody see their true worth. They have to see that for themselves. And I know this just from my own experience and being able to take this year and having some personal alone time to really connect with myself and see certain things about me. I'm not perfect. I'm human. You're human. We all have our faults. But by no means should anybody ever make you feel less than because of your faults. Because that person, if they're making you feel that way, the only reason why they're doing that is because they're not accepting their own. So, with that being said, today is a good day. Today is a great day. I have probably one of the better days that I've felt since being out of my breakup. I have started to encompass working out. Working out is pretty much almost daily. And that has really changed my mood. Because within this breakup and experiences, I kind of have felt like maybe I should go back on an antidepressant. And mind you, it's been like probably 10 years since I've been on an antidepressant. And mind you, please know that I'm not against antidepressants. I believe that in your experience, whatever heaviness is heavy to you, and if it's something that's so heavy you feel like committing suicide, it's something that's engulfing you, you're like incapable and incapacitated to do something for yourself, then yes, by all means, please take something, do something for yourself, if that includes an antidepressant. But I know for me, like I've not had an amazing time on antidepressants. It just numbed me and I felt like nothing. I don't feel like I felt happiness, or it was just like this very null void. So I don't want to go back there. So I try my best, and as hard as it has been, because I've had some really, really low lows this past like month and a half. I have to say I'm really proud of myself though. And not because I didn't get on an antidepressant, but because I was able to like conquer that and move past that. Like I'm very happy that today I am also within my PMDD and I am having an amazing day. So I have made some changes for myself of being able to use working out as an outlet for myself and seeing how that works for me. I also believe that changing my therapist, changing a group of friends, and like really letting go of toxic people in my life has really helped me to embrace these things. I am seeing certain things that like I've really allowed for myself as well that I'm like trying to work through. Like this morning, funny because I'm feeling great now, but when I woke up, I got into this really bad habit of just like thinking negatively, thinking about certain things and being like, but like connecting to that immediately and being like, whoa, it's too early in the morning for you to already be thinking negatively. So what am I going to do? I immediately went on YouTube, meditated towards positive thinking, and it's now been like 2.5 hours later and I'm already feeling great. So I'm just seeing great changes in myself and wanting to express that to you guys, and really wanting to put emphasis on this video about 2020 and making sure that you guys are using it for yourself. We're all in this pandemic. Things are not like they used to, and I'm hoping that you guys are realizing that this isn't happening to you, but it's happening for you. And when I realized that, that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this the rest of the year the best year of my life. So I've been making sure that I've been, traveling or making experiences for myself. My son and I just went zip lining. Oh my gosh. And I'm so proud that I did it, because when I was a kid, I used to go zip lining and, or like these, adventure top things. And I always would get to this one point where you have to jump. And you have to jump off of like a platform. And I couldn't do it. Like I would like cry hysterically, and I couldn't do it. And I did it, you know, like there was also a platform like that and I was able to do it. But just like conquering a little bit of fear and getting out of like these habits for myself. And of course, you know, I still have some time to go. I got to make sure that I'm keeping up with this stuff, because I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, sometimes I want to like give up. I'm like, it's too much, whatever. Or like I end up getting into these habits of like weaseling more things into my schedule. Like I'll pick up another job, I'll do this, I'll help a friend. But really seeing how important self-care is, I hope that everybody within this time is doing that, because I know that everybody probably wants to be staying busy or connecting to people because it seems so important. Because, I mean, we could be going back in lockdown in a few months. But yeah, like, please make sure that you're making mental health and self-care like the top of your list for you. Like you need to make sure that you're at least doing it once a week, if not once a day, like spending an hour a day. So with that, I also wanted just to touch on really quick, because I know some of you are probably wondering. Yes, I am still sober. I did hit my 3 years, July 27th of this year. I didn't really do much to celebrate. I do wish I did. I do plan on making it a bigger event next year. But I do want to touch on it because I've had some people in my life ask me if I'm still sober. And this is also the first year, like 2020, where I haven't been going to meetings. I've gone to one meeting since this year. And I had this real huge uncomfortability with the recovery group currently, and mainly because of that question. Are you still sober? That is none of your business. That business is my own, just like your sobriety is your own. And I believe that we get into this community and it's hard because I get it to some extent that that's your first question, but it becomes this like leveling field. And I don't like that. I don't embrace that. I don't by any means think that I'm better than anybody else because I have 3 years to the person who has 3 days, 3 minutes, 3 seconds. Because we all have these experiences that we have to go through in order to get where we're going to be. And I'm no better than I was 3 years ago. I've cut out habits for myself. I've cut out like negative experiences. But I'm still a human. And that person who's sitting next to you or is in these meetings and things like that, that has 3 minutes, that has 3 days, whatever it is, you were there. So I'm finding the recovery groups disappointing. And I'm seeing like certain things, like it's such a selfishness within all of us, our recovery. But also I want to make a key point to that is not the forefront of going forth. It used to be like, that's what a lot of my videos were talking about and things that you had to deal with because you're sober. I'm still dealing with things because I'm sober. Like I deal with things in a way where I'm not like, you know, when my initial breakup and I left, like my first thought was I could drink, not I will drink, I could drink. And I didn't. So it's all about the choices that we make if you are sober and you're choosing to be sober. I'm never letting somebody else take my sobriety. That will be an experience that I do for myself if I ever decide to go back down that road. But the main thing that I want to just say is I stopped playing the victim. That stopped being the main thing that described me. The main thing that was so important to me. Other people put such an emphasis on it than I do. I mean, I even have, I currently have a roommate now, and we, you know, just talk about these things in an open dialogue. And she's even said, like, she just feels like I'm an anomaly. And I don't like to think of it like that, but I just realize I totally get and understand why people now say that they are recovered. Because I've taken myself out of that habitual habit of saying and feeling like because I'm an alcoholic, I am a victim. And I'm not a victim because I'm an alcoholic. I'm a survivor because I'm an alcoholic. And each day that I choose not to drink makes me more of a survivor and creates more strength for myself. And I see a lot of times in the community, it just becomes like, oh my God, like this horrible harboring thing that you're taking with you. Like, it's like another thing. It's another, notch on your issues bag that you're taking with you, when, like, there's so many of our issues that we should be using for ourselves and using it for better. And that's really what my goal is for this year, and seeing that, like, my faults, that I'm going to take it with me and like create better spaces in the negative spaces that I have for myself. And I hope that you guys can do that too. And I hope that anybody else, if you're in recovery and you're dealing with addiction, that I hope that the recovery groups work for you. Refuge, AA, Smart Recovery, whatever the hell it may be. I hope that they do work for you. But if they don't ever think for a second that you can't do it on your own, because you can. And not everybody needs that community. And I know, especially in AA, they really like emphasize on that. Like, we need each other. No, some people need each other. Doesn't mean that you need that. So just wanted to touch on that. But yes, I have had my 3 years. I am seeing more and wanting to like celebrate my life and wanting to celebrate those things. So I'm going to probably change that around for myself, and like next year make sure that I make more of a celebration for it and actually celebrate it, because it is something to be proud of. So that's really all for me. And hopefully I'm going to be making more videos now, and I'm sure some of these videos are going to be things that you'll be seeing from months ago, that I've made months ago. Like, this is September, so by the time that I'm posting this, it'll probably be like December 2021. But I hope all of you guys are taking care of yourself. Please make sure that you're making mental health the forefront, and that you're really thinking about what you need for yourself. So I do hope that all of you guys are living a happy and sober life. Namaste sober, and I hope you do too.